What if there's one prayer God never ignores? A prayer so simple yet so profound. It pierces the heavens every time. Imagine starting your day with words that don't just reach God but move His heart, unlocking His presence in ways that transform your life. This isn't just any prayer. It's the secret of morning surrender, and it's waiting for you. Today, I'm going to reveal the only prayer God always hears. Stay with me. This could be the moment everything changes. Have you ever woken up with a heaviness in your chest, the weight of the day already pressing down before it even begins? The worries, the fears, the endless to-do lists, they can feel like chains, holding you back from the peace God promises. So many of us pray, but we wonder, is God really listening? What if the problem isn't that God isn't hearing, but that we're not praying the way He longs for us to? In Psalm 51:17 it says, "The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit. A broken and contrite heart, O God, you will not despise." This verse reveals a truth that changes everything. God doesn't just hear words, He hears a heart fully surrendered to Him. Morning prayer is unique. It's not about reciting a list of requests or bargaining with God. It's about offering Him your heart, raw and open, before the world has a chance to pull you away. This is the prayer of surrender, a prayer that says, "God, I give you everything before I even know what today holds." Jesus modeled this in Matthew 26:39, when He prayed, "My Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will." And that's the essence of the prayer God always hears, a heart that trusts His will above all else. When you start your day with this kind of surrender, you're not just praying. You're aligning your spirit with God's purpose, opening the door for His power to move in your life. So, what is this prayer that God always hears? It's not a complicated ritual or a perfectly worded script. It's a three-part act of surrender that transforms your morning into a sacred encounter with God. Let's walk through it together, so you can make it your own today. First, begin your morning by offering God your heart, completely and unreservedly. This isn't about listing your needs or rushing through a prayer to get to your day. It's about pausing to say, "Lord, I give you all of me, my fears, my hopes, my plans." In Romans 12:1, we're urged, "Present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship." Picture yourself kneeling before Him, opening your hands, and releasing everything you're holding on to. Thank Him for His goodness, His love, His presence. Pray, "Father, I surrender my heart to you today. Take my worries, my doubts, and guide me in your truth." This act of offering creates a space where God can work, where His Spirit can move unhindered. The second step is trusting God's plan, even when you can't see it. The morning is a fresh start, but it's also a moment of uncertainty. What will today bring? Instead of letting fear take over, declare your trust in God's perfect will. In Proverbs 3:5-6 we read, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths." Speak this promise aloud. "Lord, I trust you with today. I don't know what's coming, but you do, and I choose your way over mine." This isn't about ignoring your problems. It's about placing them in God's hands, believing He's already working for your good. When you pray this way, you're not just hoping. You're standing on the unshakable truth of God's faithfulness. The third step is to invite God's presence to fill your day. This is where the prayer becomes a bold act of faith, asking God to walk with you and guide your every step. In Psalm 139:7-10, David declares, "Where shall I go from your spirit? Or where shall I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there." Pray, "Lord, fill my day with your presence. Guide my thoughts, my words, my actions. Let me feel you near." This step is about expecting God to show up, not just in the big moments, but in the quiet, ordinary ones. It's about trusting that when you invite Him in, He will lead you, protect you, and reveal His love in ways that take your breath away. To deepen this prayer, Take a moment to listen for God's voice. After inviting His presence, pause and ask Him to speak to your heart. In John 10:27, Jesus says, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." Pray, "Lord, let me hear your voice today. Show me your will, your guidance, your love." Then be still. Might be a quiet impression, a sudden clarity, or a verse that rises in your mind. This act of listening isn't about forcing an answer. It's about trusting that God is near, ready to guide you. As you do this, ask Him to fill you with His strength. In Isaiah 40:29, we're promised, He gives power to the faint, and to him who has no might, He increases strength. Pray, "Father, give me the strength to walk in your purpose today." This moment of listening and seeking His strength will anchor your day, preparing you to face whatever comes with courage and faith. This morning prayer of surrender isn't a one-time event. It's a daily practice that reshapes your life. Consistency is what turns these moments into a lifestyle of faith. Wake up 10 minutes earlier, find a quiet space, and give God your first thoughts. You don't need a perfect setting or eloquent words, just a willing heart. In Psalm 5:3, David says, "O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I prepare a sacrifice for you and watch." Like David, let your mornings become a time to offer yourself to God and watch for His movement. Over time, you'll notice a shift. The anxieties that used to dominate your days will lose their power. The uncertainties that once overwhelmed you will feel manageable in the light of God's presence. You'll start each day with a quiet confidence, knowing you've already placed it in His hands. As you make this prayer a habit, you're building a foundation for a life rooted in God's presence. In Psalm 16:8 we read, "I have set the Lord always before me. Because He is at my right hand, I shall not be shaken." This is the power of morning surrender. It steadies your soul no matter what the day brings. Each morning, you're not just praying, you're stepping into a divine partnership with God. You're inviting Him to shape your thoughts, guide your decisions, and lead you through every challenge. Over time, this practice will transform how you see yourself and the world around you. You'll begin to notice His hand in the smallest moments, a door that opens unexpectedly, a peace that carries you through a storm, a strength you didn't know you had. This prayer isn't just about starting your day, it's about living a life anchored in God's unwavering love. This practice isn't about perfection. Some mornings you'll feel distracted or rushed, but show up anyway. God doesn't need your performance. He wants your presence. Even a whispered prayer in the chaos of your morning can become a powerful act of surrender. As you make this a habit, you'll find that God's peace becomes your foundation, His guidance your compass, and His love your strength. This is the prayer that God always hears, because it's the prayer of a heart fully given to Him, because it's the prayer of a heart that trusts Him completely. In John 15:7, Jesus says, "If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you." When you start your day with surrender, you're abiding in Him, and your prayers become a powerful connection to His heart. This isn't about getting everything you want. It's about receiving everything He has for you: peace, purpose, and a life transformed by His love. Here's what I want you to do right now. First, commit to starting tomorrow morning with this prayer of surrender. Offer your heart, trust His plan, invite His presence, and listen for His voice. Second, pass this video along to someone who needs a spark of hope, someone longing for peace or a fresh start. Your share could light the way for their faith. And finally, I have a challenge for you. In the comments below, write this prayer: "Lord, I give you my mornings and trust you with my day." By writing it, you're proclaiming your faith and joining a community of believers surrendering to God's will. Let's flood the comments with prayers that shake the heavens. If this video stirred your soul, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to stay connected to God's encouragement. Together, let's make every morning a sacred act of surrender, inviting God's power into our lives. May the Lord illuminate you, guide you, and walk with you every step of the way. Stay with God, and I'll see you in the next video.